In today's video, we're going to focus on 14 signs of a toxic or narcissistic mother-in-law. If this is something that you're interested in, then please stay tuned to find out more. Hi, I'm Athena. Welcome to my channel if you are new here. If you would like to receive notifications for any new videos that I upload, then please feel free to click on the subscribe button in order to receive these notifications. Now, what do we see in a toxic or narcissistic mother-in-law? What are the basic signs that a mother-in-law is going to cause a lot of problems? Now, first of all, it's important to mention that somebody who has NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, is an individual that is unlikely to seek any help for their behavior because they do not believe that there is anything wrong with them. If somebody with NPD does go to therapy, it will be because other people are not doing what they want, and they will be in therapy blaming other people for all of their problems. Somebody with a personality disorder such as NPD has no hope in changing their behavior. So if the traits that I mentioned in this video point towards your mother-in-law having them, being a narcissist in other words, then I would advise you to stop hoping that this person is going to change, because they will not. It could be that your mother-in-law has some of the traits that I'm going to mention, some of the signs, and not all of them. So this means that they may have a few traits of somebody with NPD, but maybe not the full-blown personality disorder. Either way, if this mother-in-law is causing problems in your relationship with your partner, then it's important to know, and it's important to have a plan of how to deal with them. Now, the first sign that your mother-in-law may be toxic or narcissistic is that she's the star of the show. This means that she needs others to always cater to her needs and her needs alone. And she will expect others to bend over backwards to satisfy these needs. She will constantly dominate any conversations. She will create drama within the family. She will undermine you, and she will celebrate her own success, her own milestones, whilst minimizing yours. The second sign is that she engages in triangulation. A key trait of narcissists is that they engage in a behavior called triangulation. This means that she involves others in conflicts or discussions in order to maintain control and create division amongst these individuals. And the most common example of triangulation from a mother-in-law is when she tries to create problems within your relationship with her son or her daughter. And unless your partner stands up to his mother or her mother, this will not be resolved. Another sign of a toxic or narcissistic mother-in-law is that she one-ups everything you say. So if you are, let's say, feeling unwell, she will immediately pretend to have something worse than you. Or if you share a success or an achievement in something, she will compare your achievement to something that she did in the past that was even better. So she always one-ups everything you say. So she is the star of the show. So she is better. Another trait of a toxic mother-in-law is that she is volatile when either confronted or critiqued. So she doesn't like receiving critical feedback, but she has an especially fragile ego. She doesn't have grace and understanding like a normal, healthy person would. She only wants others to see her in a good light, in a certain way that makes her look good. So if you threaten that, she will not handle it well, and she does not like to admit that she is wrong or that there is anything negative at all that she may have done. So if you want to avoid any arguments, avoid critiquing or confronting a narcissistic mother-in-law. Another thing that you will notice is that she lacks genuine interest in other people's feelings. So obviously narcissists are ego-centered and lack empathy, which means that a narcissistic mother-in-law in this case will lack a genuine interest in you and others. She will dismiss any emotions that you have. She will genuinely not care about how you feel. She only cares about what interests her and what will make her look better or her feel better. So be prepared for the mother-in-law to be quite dismissive of your feelings, to put you down and make you feel pretty bad about yourself. She has no interest in making you feel good. Another important sign of a narcissistic mother-in-law is that she is an excellent manipulator. She will use gaslighting, she will use guilt tripping, she will use every type of manipulation tactic in the book to get her needs met. And when she feels that her adult child is no longer in her control because you, the partner, is maybe influencing her child, she will do everything she can to manipulate her child by lying, by telling her child that you have done something wrong, by creating conflict, by creating problems. She cannot handle not having control of her adult child. Another important sign of a narcissistic mother-in-law is that she craves constant attention and admiration, just like any narcissist would. She always wants to have praise and compliments and validation, and she may become disproportionately upset if you don't consistently give her the compliments and the validation that she needs. A narcissistic mother-in-law is also desperate to be in control. She will come across as extremely domineering and controlling. She will try and control her adult child by emotionally blackmailing them, gaslighting them, guilt-tripping them, and she will do this consistently unless the adult child sets boundaries. So be prepared for the narcissistic mother-in-law to be extremely invasive in your relationship. And the minute she picks up on any difficulties in your relationship, she will gossip about you to others in her circle and she will make you look bad. You will be the villain that is causing problems in your relationship with her adult child. So be aware of this. And the more you can keep your narcissistic mother-in-law out of your relationship, the better. A narcissistic mother-in-law also has extreme negativity. You will notice that she is constantly finding something negative to say about anything and everything. Because she is deep down extremely miserable, is not happy in herself. So she will always find fault with everything. Unless, of course, it's something that benefits her or makes her look good, which she will then be optimistic about or positive about. But if it isn't to do with her, she will be very, very negative. The narcissistic mother-in-law also becomes very jealous, very envious of her adult child's partner. So again, she will interfere when she isn't supposed to. She will create problems and she will constantly crave more attention from her adult child, and she will not back down. Sometimes you will notice that when you go and visit your mother-in-law with your partner, she will in many cases completely ignore you as if you were not even in the room. She will only address her child and her child will be her absolute priority. You are just an unwelcome guest that isn't important to her. Another important sign of a toxic narcissistic mother-in-law is that she has a pattern of exploitation, which means that she'll constantly exploit friends and family, including her own children, for her benefit. She will borrow money without repaying it. She will constantly create a dynamic in the family, which means that she is always gaining at other people's expense. She is a very dishonest individual, and she really has no interest in what is good for her child and her child's partner. She generally has very strange relationships within the family with her friends because they see these ugly traits constantly coming to the surface, and people will naturally want to distance themselves. So don't be surprised if your mother-in-law doesn't actually have any close friends or any close family. Lastly, she is a very good actor, as most narcissists are. A covert narcissistic mother-in-law especially, which is characterized by a subtler manifestation of the narcissistic traits, will use other manipulation tactics such as playing the victim or passive aggression or trying to appear like she is very caring, but in reality she is only wanting to satisfy her own needs and her own wants. Passive aggressiveness and playing the victim are really, really big when you have a covert narcissistic mother-in-law. And also, it's very important that if you constantly see your mother-in-law pretending to be ill and overdoing it, and every time you mention going to the hospital or going to the doctor, she refuses. Well, the reason she refuses is because she really isn't as bad as she says she is. She's just doing it to get attention. So, of course, she doesn't want to go to the doctor, because if she was genuinely worried, then she would want to go to the doctor. But in most cases, she does not. So be aware of this, because this is just another manipulation tactic. Now, how do you manage a narcissistic mother-in-law? Well, first of all, you need to manage your expectations. Do not expect your mother-in-law to change, especially if she has MPD. She will not change. She is too old to change, and she will not admit to doing things wrong. She will not admit to hurting anybody. It will always be everybody else's fault. So manage your expectations and do not expect anything. Another thing you must do is set clear boundaries. Boundaries are very important, and you have to make sure that your partner is on the same page as you, because if he or she does not stand up to their mother, then she is going to interfere in your relationship all the time. So it has to come from your partner more than from you. It can't be that you are fighting against your partner and the mother. You and your partner need to be on the same page in this relationship, because your relationship is the important one here. It's important, if you are in a relationship with someone who has a mother like this, to check in with yourself, to make sure that you're not getting too stressed, that things are not getting too much. Because once you start getting overly stressed, this is only going to make things worse. Make sure you step away if it's getting too much. Make sure you have enough space, that you distract yourself, that you spend time with friends. Do not let yourself get sucked into all the drama with your mother-in-law. Keep your distance as much as you can. Now, with all that said, it's important to understand that you will not be able to completely remove your toxic mother-in-law from your life unless your partner agrees to do this. If things are becoming unmanageable, you need to speak to your partner and make sure that they understand how much their mother is affecting your relationship. I hope you found the video useful today. If you have had an experience with a toxic or narcissistic mother-in-law, then please feel free to share your experience in the comments below the video. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I will see you very, very soon in my next video. Bye-bye.